Modern drummer. I'm David Frangioni. We're here on stage with a man that needs no introduction, Butch Vig. Great to see you.
How are you? We're glad to be here in Pompano Beach, and we just walked through a monsoon, if you can believe that, right? I had to tell myself off literally just walking 50 feet from the bus to the backstage.
Yeah.
That's Florida.
Yeah, it sure is, especially in summer afternoons.
Yeah, man.
Well, this setup, so this is entirely electronic, and you were just sharing with me that really, other than Shirley's mic and some background vocals from your bass player, this is an entirely direct to console setup, live.
It is. If you stand on stage during a garbage show, it's very, very quiet. And Shirley loves it because she moves around a lot. Back in the day, you remember when I played my drum workshop, I had plexiglass up to keep the cymbals away from her because she would come right in front of the drums, and then we'd hear the playback later, and of course the cymbal wash is crushing loud. She can sing extremely dynamic now, and honestly, I love it because I play with headphones. Everybody plays with inner ears, and everybody has their own custom mix, and so it's very much like being in a studio.
It's a sound man's dream.
Yeah, and once you go to it, it's hard to go back to regular monitors.
And what about your adapting to playing? You're playing the Roland VAD716, and it looks acoustic to the crowd, has a great look, but playing it, going from live drums, acoustic drums, which you played your whole career, what's been the big adaptation to electronics?
Well, the setup now is very close to what I had when I played my drum workshop, because the kick, snare, rack, and floor are all shells, and they feel really good. And I used to have like 3 aux pads that I triggered a D drum too, if you can remember back in the day.
Yep.
So it's pretty similar to the kit I've been playing since Garbage started out, and the feel on the new V71s is fantastic.
It's a big upgrade from anything you'd played before.
Big upgrade from the, I played the TD50X since 2016, I think.
Okay.
And this feels way more natural and dynamic. It was a bit of an adjustment to get the hi-hat feel when I started playing the TD50X, because you realize so much of the 8th note grace notes and things on the hi-hat or the ride were tricky to duplicate, but Roland really upped their game, especially with the V71. The dynamics and the multi-sampling are way, way more accurate now, so it feels very realistic. The best thing about the new V71 is they incorporated a lot of the drum workshop expansion packs.
Okay, right, because now Roland owns DW, so now you're seeing it in the actual module.
And they sound effing fantastic. I mean, I have 2 expansion packs from the DW 50th anniversary and 2 expansion packs from the DW Purple Heart. And the cool thing is, on the 50th anniversary, there's 2 versions. There's the producer's version, where they sampled everything in the studio from a producer's perspective. So if I'm behind a console and the drummer's out in the room. Then they did another pack from the drummer's perspective, which is literally like the mic is here. So you're hearing what drums sound like when you play them as a drummer. So they're very dry and in your face, and you can swap between them. You can use a kick from the studio position, from the producer's position, then cut to the snare from the drummer's position, and the sampling and oversampling and multi-samples are incredible. Just the dynamics, I can't speak highly enough of it. They've really hit a home run.
And playing the electronic cymbals, that to me, it's hard enough to adapt to the electronic kit, although at this point you have a lot of years of tweaking it and getting used to it. What you see with a lot of guys' setups is they'll use real hats and real ride, because the crashes you can get away with, as you know.
You can get away with the crashes.
Right, and that's been kind of on point for a while, especially if you're not doing a lot of intricate cymbal rolls and things that are really testing the different ranges, and most people aren't. So the crashes work, but ride and hats, especially hats, and you nailed it right on the head. Like, how do you get the hats to work in a rock show and really give you what you need? Because there's infinite nuances in hi-hats.
It is, and like most drummers, I keep time, either 8th notes or 16th notes on the hat and the ride. It does take a little getting used to, and you have to go into the Roland system and mess with the sensitivity and the threshold, and there's a bunch of velocity curves to adjust for your dynamic, how loud you want the quiet notes to be or how quiet you want them to be. And you can set that up for every song, so you can kind of dial it in. If it's a rocker, you can have a certain settings, and if it's a quieter song, you can change the settings. And so far, it's been great. Like I said, Roland really upped the sampling technology and the velocity technologies on the hi-hat and the ride, so they sound pretty fantastic.
And the open characteristics as you go from tight to little more washy to really open, like that's where things can get a little dodgy. But that's one of the places where they nailed it this time around.
Yeah, and another update on the V71 is they finally put together an easy way to edit, because now either with your iPhone or with a laptop you can plug in and just drag and drop and very quickly edit all the parameters in here. I don't know if you guys ever worked on the TD50X.
Yeah,
it was kind of a pain to edit.
I did, yeah.
And I complained a lot, and they finally heard me complaining. Thank you, Roland.
Thank you, Butch. No, thank you for complaining.
So it's really easy. It's so fast now. You just, we had a moment, I could just pair up and start editing stuff. But I highly recommend it if you're really going to dive into electronic drums at the V71. I know it's kind of pricey, but it is very, very sophisticated.
And you connect via USB?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you can just connect on wireless on Bluetooth or the internet with your phone, and a laptop you go USB-C.
And even from an iPhone, it's useful.
Yeah, I mean, I realized, because I have a bunch of different modules, because we have to have a backup, and we also have a B rig that travels to another city. We sort of rotate rigs out.
Oh, I see.
And I forgot that I have to have the expansion packs in. You back up on an SD card. And I also have about 75 custom samples from garbage records that we've accumulated over the years. That was easy to load in, but the SD card saves the parameters, but it does not save the expansion packs. They are saved in the module. So,
how do you save it?
Well, when I plugged in the new module, it went drum sets missing. I was like, oh shit. And then I went, oh, I know why. I turned this on, clicked on it, and within 5 minutes I had 6 expansion packs of all the drums loaded in. So
nice.
It was very, very quick. I did panic slightly, but then, as I said, it took 5 minutes to load everything in. So,
and you have custom samples in here?
I have about 75 samples, kicks and snares, a few toms, a lot of some weird sound effects and loops that are sort of part of a specific garbage song that we've been using going way back to our first and second album. So,
you know, you may not realize this, but we have a history together. I had a sample library. It was actually one of the earliest ones ever released and very, very successsual, called Dance Industrial.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Wow.
And you were kind enough to not only use it on the garbage record, the first record, at this point a seminal, iconic record to say the least, but you credited us. And a lot of guys that were using the samples at that time, we were kind of listening. It was a royalty-free sample, so it wasn't about chasing dollars or anything. Yeah. It was really just about the creative side. And so we would hear it on all kinds of records, and we go, oh, wow, they used it here, they use it. But you were one of the artists that actually acknowledged it, so thank you for that. And I wonder, is that loop, if you even remember which one it was, because I honestly don't.
Oh,
but
man, I don't remember.
If it's still you know,
it's possible
in
it's
use.
somewhere in here. It's funny, when I transferred over the samples from my TD50X to the V71, there's no way to transfer directly, and so I had to load them back in and put them on a new SD card. But I realized in the TD50X I had about 250 samples, but I was really only using about 50 or 60.
Right. So you cleaned house.
I clean house. I do not need 250 samples in there.
Right. Especially, other than live, does this have a place when you're in the studio or writing?
Yes. In fact, I just finished mastering the new Silver Sun Pickups album that I produced.
Okay.
And we did all the drum tracks on the V71 at my home studio. But Christopher, the drummer, did use a real hi-hat and a real ride, because they were very specific to how he plays live. Mm-hmm. But like I said, or like you said, the crashes
were all there.
We're fine, yeah. and the drums he was able to dial in if we wanted big drums or tight, really cracky drums, and he loved it because it was so easy, and because it was at my house, there was like zero pressure to have to go in and crank out through a bunch of drum tracks in the studio, and it was really, really fun, and it kind of eye-opening for me, because we'd start a song and I'd be recording this directly into Pro Tools as well as the MIDI that could come back and play this. And I go, I'm not
nice.
quite happy with the snare sound. So rather than committing to a take, we could do a couple of takes and go, let's change the snare drum. And we would change it, and it didn't affect anything.
Right, so it was as if you had sequenced his drum part in that regard,
Yes.
because you weren't having to replace audio samples. You actually could literally just replace sounds via MIDI notes, just what you were triggering.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And,
that's fast.
It gave us a lot of freedom, and also even up to the mixing, because I was sort of tweaking the drum sounds during the final mix. And the album is called Tenterhooks. It's coming out, I think, in a couple of months, but all the drums were done by the V71, so check it out. They sound pretty amazing.
And your V71 nonetheless.
My V71.
So it has all of your sounds
had my
ready to
custom
go.
sounds in here.
Yeah, I
Yep.
love it. Wow, that's awesome. So I think this is really becoming a tool of the trade for you. Like, this is beyond just a solution for live that's, you know, kind of fits the plan for the band on stage. I mean, this is actually like a new axe, if you will.
It kind of is, but you know, we've always been a techie band.
Yep, true.
So even going back to the first tour when I was triggering samples,
From acoustics.
From acoustics, I played the drum workshop and had triggers going to the D drum too. And Duke and Steve have always had a lot of effects. We took all the amps off stage. They use pods, helixes. There's a lot of programming going into them, and the same with our bass player, Nicole. And but our front of house engineer, Dave Gomez, loves it because it's all DI right out to the front. So it's so clear and focused when he brings up the mix.
And in a very real way, it's again a garbage approach to being cutting edge, because there's not a lot of bands doing that, you know, who have been able to successfully go all DI, still get the energy, still get the sound, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's what the audience couldn't care less how easy or difficult it is for the sound man to mix. We care, but they don't.
Yeah.
They care how it sounds. And when I hear you guys out front, you know, it's awesome. It sounds great.
It's also, you know, we've been doing this for 30 years now, and if you heard my pack during a show, it's very quiet, you know, and so I'm able to protect my ears after 30 years of
that's
hearing
a huge one too.
roaring drums and blazing guitars in the studio. So, and also, as I said, Shirley, she really loves it because she can go anywhere on the stage, and it's just a really quiet in terms of ambient noise from the band. So it works for us.
Are you recalling all of your presets from one central place that gets everybody's presets in place, or are you doing it manually?
I've got it right here. I've got an I/O box, so when I hit a song like this, it sets up the song, and it also sets presets to all the guitar effects.
Oh, so you are doing that, but it's you doing that.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
awesome.
I have some responsibilities.
In a big way, you know, the thing today is there's a guy off stage running live, and then he's sending, when he calls the song up, everybody on stage, presets go where they need to
We've
go.
never done that. I watch Shirley, and we know each other so well. I literally know when she's going to finish a sentence and we can start a song. 99% of the time.
Love it.
Every now and then I'll step on
the
her.
1% is what makes rock and roll, and we love that.
There are a few train wrecks every night in the garbage show, and I have to say I think our fans enjoy that for some horrible reason.
When you never know what's going to happen, that's the whole essence of an awesome live show.
Yeah.
So normally we would say, okay, let's, you know, what size snare drum, and, you know, why brass or titanium? So this is all about this. But before we get to this, because I want to hear your sounds, I'm dying to hear your sounds actually as a fellow techie. What is the size configuration that you've chosen?
Well, this is kind of standard. 14-inch snare, 13-inch rack, 16-inch floor. I believe these are 10-inch pads. The two aux pads here are 10-inch. Okay. And this is the alt snare, which is probably a 12-inch. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
I use a lot of alt snare and like breakdowns of songs, so it's usually quieter and drier, and the main snare is usually bigger or just has more weight to it. And
22
stand. That's what I play live. So I'm playing pretty much the same configuration I do on my drum workshop.
All right, so let's hear some of these sounds.
Well, this is pretty much one of my stock kits. That's the snare, which is, if you see here, it's the DW purple and the snare Butch Vig gated, BB gated. It's a combination of the two. And then the toms are Also the DW50th. And this is noisy, I think. Yeah, that's a garbage hit from a B-side called Subhuman. Also,
distorted
you
hit.
can't really hear these. These are really f***ed up sounding. And this is another f***ed up sound.
Oh, by the way, I've never looked forward to the edit of a video as much as I am on this one, because I can't hear a sound, and I have been dying to hear these sounds since you agreed to do this with us.
Yeah, so Queer, it's a little more hip-hoppy. So that's the
clarinet
sample in the garbage song Queer that stops the end of every chorus and leads into a verse. And these toms are, I think they're very similar. Nope, see, these are the Roland acrylics. They're mellower sounding.
On the 50s that you're using, the DW50, which perspective did you choose? The control room or the drummer?
I pretty much have used the studio samples, except on some of the snares, I'm using the drummer's
but the rest, audience
because I like
perspective.
having a dry sound on the snare on some of the songs.
Gotcha.
And definitely on the alt snare, I'm using the drummer's perspective, the drier sound for the smaller snare sound.
Very cool.
Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. There's another trick is to keep breathing, which is also a little drier and has a couple effects. That's a lo-fi fill we sampled that's on the record that we use.
That's cool.
And this is the break going out of the bridge in the last chorus, which is a long bent string slide. So it's just a lot of variations. All the songs have slightly different configurations on these. Most of the rock songs have a similar kick, snare, rack, floor, but it's pretty cool.
Well, this is awesome. And you have a library, I thought, with Ryan Gruss through Yurt Rock.
Yeah.
So any of these sounds find their way in there?
Oh, totally. When I worked on the Native Instruments pack, I knew making it that I'm probably going to use about 7 or 8 of the snares and 6 or 7 of the kicks. And yes, they're all in my all in my custom samples.
Butch, thank you for being here today. The iconic Butch Vig, the V71 playing a big role, as electronics always are, on the Garbage Tour and all the projects that you're up to. So Modern Drummer, thank you for seeing us today and being here with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Modern Drummer, and love to all you drummers out there. Keep banging.
And check out Butch's cover story. You got the poster.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, man, that was great.
It's in my studio at home. I love it.
I love it. So we'll see you guys soon.
Give the drummer some love, okay?